seat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them, but with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly, so get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Huskers are headed to the locker room, and it's time for Big Red Overreaction, the live post-game show with all the info and opinions you can handle, plus the most important voice of all, yours. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Get on the line now at 402-951-1620 and sound off on Big Red Overreaction. Live on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Well, I have been waiting for a moment where Rink Mast and company have a big comeback coming, as Nebraska's given up a 38 or 37-0 run now. But I have faith that Fred and the boys will get this done here on this last day of 2020. Oh, crap, it's football. Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome. It's Big Red Overreaction. It's John Bishop. It's Gary Sharp.
Men's basketball team.
What's that?
It's the number 13 men's basketball team. It's a basketball school. Friday is not about the portal, about fixing what ails this team. It is about Nebraska, Michigan State. But good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Gary. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Yeah, we're starting a little earlier tonight because, well, we might as well get this season over with as fast as possible because as it stands right now, running total, I hope my math is good. It's been a while since I've been in a math class. The running total is 121-40. Those are the cumulative scores of the last 3 games played this year.
Yeah, today looks like today is a reminder what a 10-2, close to a playoff team looks like compared to a team that's 7-5 and beat 2 teams that went to a bowl game. Hey, Nebraska went out to Vegas to have fun, and they had fun for a little bit, and then reality set in that there's going to be some lingering questions that will go deep into the offseason, regardless of what you do in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I said earlier today, John, this was a no pain day. Because you know what, just enjoy some football. You never know what's going to happen in these games with who's available and who's not available. And the same things I worried about, and we all did about Nebraska, they just got amplified again today. And I think if you base your decisions on what you need to do moving forward off this one game, then you're not in the right spot. You should have known that by now. And I hope Rhule after the game says, yeah, instead of his line of "I didn't see this coming," I hope he says, "I did see this coming."
That would be quite the admission, given all the things that have happened in the offseason. By the way, they are sorting out a bit of a kerfuffle here as TJ Lateef, I thought, got hit late. Looked like he was out of bounds and got popped on the Utah sideline, and there was a little bit of a pull apart, but no penalty. Shocking. Either way, Nebraska down 44-14. There's a little less than 8 minutes left. I mean, I was ready either way, Gary, to come on here and say, as I have said in the month of December, if you're gauging a lot of what was the 2025 season off of this game or projecting anything forward into 2026, you're looking too deeply into this. I mean, obviously Nebraska was without its best player. A couple other guys opted out. Utah's without their 2 best tackles. I mean, you never want to get spanked like this. You never want to go out and get embarrassed as Nebraska has. And I've already seen it today on the social media and my email, on the YouTube comments. By the way, thanks for joining us here on Big Red Overreaction. It's brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. There's so many different variables with these bowl games these days. All you wanted to see was, could they have learned something from the end of the regular season? Could they have applied something a little bit differently? Did all the changes with Matt Rhule going backwards going to coach the defensive line, bringing in Jeep Wade, who has gotten his feet a little bit wet, getting some support elsewhere. How much of that was going to make a difference? Did I think it was going to make a difference between winning and losing? No. But it's kind of similar to what we saw with Dana last year. It was a little bit of a tryout before the real season starts. You don't like to see it go out this way, and there's going to be a lot of negativity out there. But I would caution folks, and we can do this exercise, Gary, as we progress. I mean, you look at who started this game tonight, and then you just check off, all right, is he going to be starting next year? Is he going to be starting? There's going to be a lot of changes to this football team, and not just in the starting lineup, in the two deep and beyond as well.
Yeah, they've got, they've made changes on the coaching staff, which, you used your get out of jail free card. I think Nebraska, and, maybe this comes with guys getting a year older, and I mean, they have guys again today that are playing against grown men, and Nebraska at some point has to become grown men. Like, the roster has to stop being young, but speed and strength and conditioning are something that I think needs to be discussed a little bit more. It's not just X's and O's. Nebraska has lost their last 3 games, Penn State, Iowa, and Utah, especially the last 2. John, I think they were lost before you ever got on the field and it came down to X's and O's. I think they were lost back in the winter, back in the summer in strength and conditioning. Those are the kind of games that are played in the Big Ten when you're trying to compete in that middle tier before you ever have the talent to play with Indiana, Ohio State, or Oregon. And Nebraska just physically looks outmatched on the line of scrimmage on both sides. They can't make open field tackles one-on-one. I mean, this game just reminds you of how far Nebraska is away and what kind of hope you're looking for in the next 2 weeks, which all of a sudden, if you didn't know it now, you know it, are pretty damn important to the trajectory of this program.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. What's going to happen here between now and the middle of January is going to have a hell of a lot more to say about 2026 than whatever happens here and whatever has happened here in this Las Vegas Bowl. Down to the last 5 minutes, 44-14. Nebraska trying to mount at least some kind of a drive to stem this 37-0 run. And in many ways, this game has been a microcosm of this season. I mean, you look back at the first 2 drives, everything was clicking. Dana was in his bag. We actually saw jet sweep action, push pass action, actually trying to get the ball to Ja'Cory Barney in space, which was a revelation. And I instantly went to Twitter and said, hey, where's that play been all season long?
Yeah.
We saw some good rhythm. Then we saw, remember, Nebraska had the ball up 14-7. And that's when the 3 and outs started to happen.
They punted. John. That fourth and short.
They did. They punted. But then there was the 14-7, 3rd and goal from the 20. 3rd and goal from the 20. Yeah. And again, Dampier's got 8 minutes behind, center to view the field and hit a touchdown. Just completely unacceptable. And from that moment on, it just took off. But that's been a microcosm of the season, and especially of these last handful of games. There are moments where you're like, okay, this is the team that was promised. This is the kind of offense we thought that, was possible with Nelson. All 3 running backs got in on the first drive, for crying out loud, and looked good. But then teams get a chance to adjust, and Nebraska's never been able to adjust back. But your point about being physical, being, athletic up front, is an excellent point, because this was a game just like many others. And remember, Utah might be a Big 12 school, but this is a Kyle Whittingham school.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why Michigan got Kyle Whittingham, or at least ended up with Kyle Whittingham, was because he believes in the same kind of things that they believe in the Big Ten Conference. Be physical up front, be athletic up front, be dominant up front. And Utah has shown that here over the last 2.5, 3 quarters.
Yeah, you've talked about it, John. I've talked about it. One thing and I mean, Nebraska kind of is the same team that we all saw in person at Arrowhead. They didn't take drastic jumps during the course of the season, where they just kept stacking things. They lack that fortitude of, okay, they're kind of a front-running team. They get off to good starts and they feel good. But when they're stressed, all of a sudden they crumble, and they're lacking that abundance of dudes that are hit stickers, broke dickers. Okay, that when things start to go south, they go and make a play. Okay, sometimes it simply is a guy just making a play to get off the field, and they don't have enough of those. And I don't know if there's enough in the program, or you got to go shopping for them. But it's tough to find sell hope. And Matt Rhule's going to get stressed here. He's going to get squeezed. He's going to find out what the fishbowl is like. and where you might be able to say something or make an addition to your staff and go, man, this brings back energy. We're going to do this different. But until people see it, man, it's going to be a long offseason around here trying to convince people that there's something that's going to be different when you get to year number 4, whether it be with talent, coaching, or whatever. I think we all have this standard of, it's great that there's good character guys in the program, that guys, don't get in trouble, that the head coach represents Nebraska well. But at some point, the standard is you got to win games that matter. And how do you win games that matter? Clearly, Nebraska can't win games that matter on the sidelines. So they've got to go and get talent that can win them on the field. And that's a tough spot to be in when you're going into year number 4, figuring that out, because you don't have anything to fall back on.
You certainly don't. 402-951-1620 is our phone number. That is the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Back with you for one final time here on Big Red Overreaction. They've just gone to the 2-minute warning, and Nebraska driving in the red zone to try to salvage one last touchdown before the season comes to an end. You can also hit us up on the email, John at 1620thezone.com, Gary at 1620thezone.com. There's also, of course, our YouTube comment section. There's a lot of people hanging out there as well. Supporting sponsors of Big Red Overreaction include Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Now, it might run a little bit differently with Nebraska not being the winning team. We won't have to wait as long for Matt Rhule, but we will go to Matt Rhule when we have him. At some point, the press conference order might be a little skewed, but because we've started early, we've given ourselves plenty of time to get some callers in. 402-951-1620. Let's go to John first and see what's on your mind, John. John, Happy New Year. Welcome to Big Red Overreaction. You're on with John Bishop, Gary Sharp.
Hey, John. Hey, Gary. How are you?
Good, John.
Good. It's hard to even know where to begin, but I'm glad the adults are in the room for this one, because I think some big picture talk. Gary, I think you just nailed it right there. And I'm just kind of from a leadership standpoint, how can we have any iota of a belief in this gentleman and the staff that he's put together if, as you put it, they are incapable of out-coaching across the sideline? It seems to me a very unserious program right now. And I want to caveat that by saying, I think Matt Rhule's a good guy. And I think he has genuinely put the program in better position to succeed, but it just seems so unserious from a football standpoint. He told us that he was going to pound the rock, and then he didn't go for it from the 1-yard line in the very first game. He said he was going to hold players accountable. He said he was going to throw it, that we were going to be a fullback you. He said, I mean, it's just sales pitch after sales pitch after sales pitch that's not serious. And we have to become a program that stands for something, believes in something, and that's where you stop being front runners. The thing that needs to happen is that we have to have a backbone. Real quick story. I got a nephew in the league in the Big Ten, and I just it makes me vomit to say this, because I do not like PJ Fleck. But when he got recruited by PJ Fleck, you want to talk about what row the boat means? He came back and we were kind of talking about it, and he said, yeah, PJ drug tested everybody every day for the first year. That's row the boat. That's getting everybody on the same page. That's showing conviction and believing in something and standing for something. And of course, that program has shown the consistency. It has a low ceiling, but it's shown the consistency. So I just want us to get a coach like that at some point. It's been so long since we've had that. And please, for the love of God, if we could get back there at some point, I would be so glad. That's all I got to say. Thanks much.
John, appreciate it. Good call. And that's part of it too, Gary, is, we talk about, hey, you got to get the right guys. You got to go out in the portal. You got to first identify what it is exactly that you want to be. And I still don't think they know that yet. I still don't think Dana really knows kind of where his role is or what his place is in terms of, kind of where his offense is morphed and how they can make that work with whatever it is Matt Rhule's vision is and whatever they think together they want to be in this conference. I don't think they figured that out yet. By the way, Nebraska's just scored. So there runs the 37-0 run by Utah. Latif head over heels into the end zone. And, you're going for 2 now? Oh, they did.
Yep,
Sorry,
they converted.
Looking. I was so engrossed in John's call. So 44-22 now is the score. But that's the first thing that's got to happen, Gary, is they got to figure out exactly what it is they want to be and then go and recruit and get guys out of the portal exactly for that and coach to exactly that.
Yeah, it's a really nice program right now that lacks an identity that I think in this year became too comfortable. Like, okay, this is just Nebraska. It'll turn. We got it we're headed in the right direction, and it needed a little bit more tender love and care. And I think it's going to need some hard love. I think it's needing some hard love on a headset. It's going to be some hard love on a helmet. But back to kind of John's call and PJ Fleck, they have an identity. Like when they get squeezed, they can fall back on things. Yes, their ceiling is really low, but they have an identity that carries them through games when they get stressed. And Nebraska's still searching for that identity that whenever they walk into a stadium, whether at home or on the road, they know they at least have that. Right now, it's a crapshoot of finding an identity for 60 minutes. And when you play teams that have more talent, Nebraska finds out, man, they're in trouble. When they've crossed over the threshold of beating teams that are kind of below them, which they used to have trouble with, they've done that. But that's a tough way to live if that's the only thing you can do. You have to find a way to beat teams in your neighborhood or above you. And do you do that with talent? Do you do that with coaching? Do you do that in the 8 months prior to the season? I mean, these are all questions that they pay the head man a lot of money that he has to figure out sooner than later. But the program at times, I think, is too comfortable. I think now it's got to be on the edge where there's a sense of urgency that, this is real. And we got to get this turned around because there's so much at stake financially, just everything that falls in line with this football program having success. And this is a shitty way to live. I mean, excuse me. This is a crappy way to live when you're having moments like this continuously.
And Gary, can you can you do that when right now it just feels like there are so many questions swirling and you talk about urgency? Is it hard to have urgency when your coach just got extended for 2 more years? We can tackle that as well as we continue on. We'll take our first break here. Again, we'll get to Matt Rhule as soon as the press conference begins from Las Vegas. It is 44-22 with less than 2 minutes to go as Utah will just try to run out the clock. By the way, Texas has gone on a run, and they're up 2 touchdowns on Michigan with 2 minutes left in their bowl game as well. And, of course, we got Miami and Ohio State getting ready to start here in about 45 minutes or so, the first of the college football playoff quarterfinals as Nebraska tries an onside, and it was actually more of a squib kick that ends up going to Utah. 44-22 Utah. We'll be back. Our show brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. By No Name Nutrition, live a better, healthier, more natural life. By Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. By Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. And by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. I'm John Bishop. He's Gary Sharp. Jake Janicek on the dials. This is Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor because more than likely you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Life gets hectic, and that can pull away from your wellness goals. So when you finally focus on your health, why get lost in a sea of impersonal options? Discover No Name Nutrition, your family-owned health food haven with personalized service. We'll guide you to the best choices for your journey. Visit NoNameNutrition.com today, 144th and Center or North 72nd Street.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop. It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
It's football season, so grab your friends and make Sky Bar and Grill your football HQ. Feel like you're in the games while watching our massive TV walls and large screen TVs. Enjoy all your favorite beverages and food options with your group and place your bets with a PFC Sportsbook to cash in. All with the friendliest service around. Get in the game at Sky Bar and Grill, located inside Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more at Prairie Flower Casino, just minutes north of downtown Omaha. Must be 21. Please bet responsibly.
Sunday morning is all about church, bacon, and the Sunday paper. Right next to church and bacon, Sunday's made for hot takes and reactions on Severe Reaction. Join me, Michael Severe, Sunday on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction from 8 to 10 after every game. What went right, what went wrong, and an honest take on what happened on game day. We'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction, Sunday mornings from 8 to 10, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Nebraska Medicine, together, extraordinary, on 1620 The Zone.
Now back to Big Red Overreaction, presented with limited commercial interruption by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Well, I think they just staged the first ever Gatorade dunk for Utah and their new head football coach. They had Nebraska had just taken over on downs, and then T.J. Lateef was sacked. Nebraska used a timeout. They went to the sideline, and they had the low-angle camera shot. The guys are literally – I mean, if Morgan Scally had any idea, if he had no idea that there were guys standing behind him with a Gatorade bucket, he has the worst spatial awareness of anyone I know. But then like the guys took the cue, and then it's like, oh, here it comes. We got to get the shot. Make sure we get the shot. And the Gatorade and the water came crashing down. But this one's almost final. 13 seconds left, 44-22 in favor of Utah. Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline is 402-951-1620. I'm John. He's Gary. And we've got Joe. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Gary.
No, I was just going to say back-to-back 7 and 6 seasons where it's a different vibe on this show.
Yeah, it is a very different vibe. Last year it was hope and everything that went with it. And, it was a game where Nebraska finished at the end when it looked like they were going to fade and give away another victory. But then today happened, and much, much different vibe to this 7 and 6 season, especially given where Nebraska was about 6 weeks ago. Yep. I mean, they were in position after playing one of their best games of the year at UCLA. They were in position to win 9 games and maybe play in a much better bowl game than this one. Here is Joe. Hi, Joe. Thanks for waiting. You're on Overreaction with John and Gary.
Yeah, guys. How's it going?
Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you guys. I like John's point about team finding an identity. I'm just curious, when do you guys think had an identity last?
Bo.
I mean, yeah, that's an easy answer. To a degree, I mean, even Mike Riley's team had an identity. It just maybe wasn't a very good one, at least the first couple of years, and then they brought in Diakomania, and everything went sideways. But, yeah, I mean, it has been a while where a team, knew what it wanted to be, recruited to it, and tried to coach to it. And, the easy answer certainly is Bo.
My main point with it, and I've been saying this for 10 years, I've been calling in and saying it, and everyone told me I was crazy. The whole reason Nebraska lacks an identity now is purely because of the fan base and the media. When you had Bo Pelini, who ran a tough, hard-nosed, gritty program, and people got mad about him having a hot mic or not being polite to the media or the fans, and then they ran him out of town, it kind of just seems like Nebraska's going to be forever cursed, because what coach is ever going to want to come and coach here and coach that way?
I don't think it's cursed. I mean, it's just, it's one of those things. And listen, the dynamics have changed since 2013, 2014. It is a completely different world now. All you have to do is go out and get the right people. Now, I'm not saying that Matt Rhule still can't be that person, but at some point, this merry-go-round of assistant coaches and coordinators, the whole idea of, Bill Belichick told me it took 3 years to get my staff together. I don't buy that. I mean, if you know what you want to be and you got the people around you, yeah, if you're good enough, you're going to lose people to other programs. That just happens. But these haven't been people leaving for better programs. These have been the only person who has left so far on their own volition was Tony White. And some of that may have been, too many cooks in the kitchen, didn't like the meddling, whatever the case may be. You need to find your people and you need to settle on a group. That's why I was so encouraged with the hiring of Mike Eckler, because Rhule went outside of his circle. Sure. Does he have Nebraska ties? Absolutely. But Mike Eckler is great at his job. He is excellent at his job. That's what you need to do, is bring in people around you and maybe to challenge you a little bit and be really good at their jobs.
I agree. And I think going back to the point about Bo is I think teams reflect their head coach. And, Bo had an edge. Guys played hard for him, man. I think, we've seen, 3 coaches since. A lot of the faults and the strengths, their teams, they mimic those. And it almost seems like this team is searching, and Rhule is searching on how to be a football coach at Nebraska. I mean, this ain't Temple. This ain't Baylor. This is a whole different thing. It's in the Big Ten, where maybe in the Big 12, you were one of the upper echelon coaches. This offseason just saw Matt Campbell go to Penn State, Pat Fitzgerald go to Michigan State, Kyle Whittingham, who you just saw his team and what they're going to bring to Michigan, go to Michigan. I mean, you're not in the top half in coaching. It's just, there's a lot of tough questions, and there's a lot of searching for the right identity. And I don't think it's just quickly fixed by an influx of better players. I mean, yeah, you can win 7 games every year with just better players, but man, is that where you want to be? You want to be able to find those 3 extra ones. And I think that comes when it's on the sidelines. And right now, there's nothing that says, man, Nebraska's got a magic touch there. And that's uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable because you pay enough money and you're at a place that has high standards that you need better than that. And it hasn't been. I mean, it's 500 for 3 years.
Yeah, it's a 500 culture. That's where it is. That's what it is right now. It's a 500 culture. 402-951-1620. Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Our friend from Knoxville, Chris, is on the line. Hey, Chris.
Hey, John, Gary. Happy New Year. Wish it was under better circumstances than this tonight. But, John, you hit it on the head, man. You have to know what you want to do before you can go out and get it. And I don't think with the contract extension that Rhule got, that obviously backfired on Dannon this year. But I don't think there was an option not to do it for him. But it did go south fast with 3 miserable losses. And the issue I'm having with Rhule, and he's done it since year 1, he continuously sets himself up for failure and to be mocked. I understand the podcast he does. I was at first against it, like this. You're spending too much time doing this. But John, you made a good point. It's not much different than doing the old coaches show on TV they used to do. It's not much different. I get that. And that's swayed me in the direction. But saying things like, I now not only have the money to keep any player I want, I can get any player I want. Boy, you better back it up in the portal this fall. Then you're going to say something like that. With the class you brought in from the high school ranks, as bad as that was, you better back it up with some talent in the portal and money in the portal, because that gauntlet of a schedule next year is atrocious, and it gets worse knowing what's leaving us and what's leaving the program. And if Rhule was to win 6 games next year with what's on the table, what's in front of him, that might be his best coaching job he's done, from Baylor to Temple, whatever. because of how bad it looks. And you better be a 6-win team, because if it starts to go south, the one thing that I have hope in that says, okay, let's get to this point, and this is where it's going to take off, is that 27 recruiting class. Right now, it's a top 5 class. It's stacked with talent, but if next year goes south and we're sitting at 3-7 or 4-5, you're going to see decommits. You're going to have questions. We're going to lose Trey. It's going to go south fast. And the problem is that now, I don't like talking about letting the coach go, but you had no choice because, Matt, you're looking at a 500 season again here, and we're paying you money, but you can't let him go again because of the extension. So you're in a catch-22. So my point here is it's time to put up or shut up. He's got to just keep quiet, do his job, and stop putting himself in a position to be mocked and set up for failure with what he's saying, and just go out and try and get things done. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Chris, some great points. I mean, yeah, I defended the podcast, but there are things, and I know a lot of people are going off on the comments tonight about the backwards hat gimmick and all that other stuff. There's just these little things that, it's no different than with some of Bo's antics. As long as the winning kept going and as long as the blowouts didn't happen, you were going to tolerate some of it. But once things start going sideways, all these other little ancillary things on the outside are going to start grating at people and getting on people's nerves. They just want to see good football. And over the last 3 games, they have not seen good football. And while I'm not taking too much out of this bowl game, it is still a last impression. And the last impression, which really counts the whole month of November, is not a good last impression. It did not give you a warm and fuzzy like last year did. This is a bad last impression. And now, not only do you have an important offseason for whatever the staff's going to look like, whatever going to come in and out of the portal, you also got an important offseason in terms of trying to quell a very frustrated fan base right now. Because, like it or not, people are losing patience, and this is starting to give off vibes of some other recent years where it felt like a coach was going into it. I know he's not necessarily in a hot seat because of that lengthy contract, but it feels like it, or it's going to feel like it. He's got an important job to do to quell some of that as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, John, and Chris's points. I don't know. There's times where Rhule is a try too hard guy. We're past the time of selling, that he has to sell Nebraska. I think, it's very conflicting. You come off a season like this, you got 26 on the horizon, and Nebraska needs to figure out a way to beat Ohio opening week before they can look at the other 11 games. That's kind of been a problem, as well. Look ahead. I mean, we're guilty of it because 27 looks really, really good. So it's conflicting of their 500 program, but man, 27 looks enticing. But Rhule is a try too hard guy. Instead of, you don't have to impress anybody. You know what impresses people that root for Nebraska and cover Nebraska? Good football, where you don't get beat by teams that play Big Ten football better than you. You play good Big Ten football. That's what impresses people, not the backwards hat or the slogans or anything. It's just the simple football. We're simple people around here. That's all we want. We don't need slogans. We just need good football. We need good football. The other big thing about the offseason is they have to identify guys that are in the program that can help them move forward. Are there enough of those guys? Because as you saw in this game, I think their evaluation in the recruiting process, not necessarily the portal process, but the recruiting process of high school kids, there are some guys that probably should not be frontline guys at Nebraska and playing in the Big Ten. And they have to identify those guys, and it's okay to cut ties and move on, because Nebraska doesn't have enough talent to beat teams that are above them. And they have to find that way. And they, at some point, you got to stop being nice and just reality. The guys aren't good enough to play in this program, and we'll help you go find somewhere else that you can play.
402-951-1620. We'll have our Matt Rhule press conference when it is available. We'll take to that. Your calls are always welcome. Got a full bank of phone calls. We'll get to them on Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. By Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. By Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. By Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. John Bishop, Gary Sharp, back with more Overreaction here on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
At Dingman's, we understand that when you bring your vehicle to us, you're entrusting us with your safety and peace of mind. As part of this community, we're here to look after you and your family, just like we would our own. Our skilled technicians ensure every detail is handled with care, and our personal touch sets us apart. As your neighbors and fellow community members, we take pride in caring for the vehicles that keep our community moving. Locally owned and locally trusted. At Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Visit dingmans.com.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let J. Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, J. Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor, because more than likely, you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away.
Life gets hectic, and that can pull away from your wellness goals. So when you finally focus on your health, why get lost in a sea of impersonal options? Discover No Name Nutrition, your family-owned health food haven with personalized service. We'll guide you to the best choices for your journey. Visit NoNameNutrition.com today, 144th and Center, or North 72nd Street.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
Now back to Big Red Overreaction, presented with limited commercial interruption by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. And by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Nebraska's season has come to an end, 44-22 at the hands of Utah. That is 30 consecutive losses now by Nebraska to ranked teams. And Matt Rhule's record, not much better as well. He is now 2-25 all-time as a college head coach against AP top 25 ranked teams. The coach is standing by for his press conference. We're brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. By No Name Nutrition, live a better, healthier, more natural life. By Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. By Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. And by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Right now, let's head to Matt Rhule live in Las Vegas.
All right. First of all, credit to Utah. I thought number 4, the quarterback, was spectacular. We've seen him all year. He's done that versus everybody. We thought we did a good job for the first 3 quarters, really stopping the run. But unfortunately, a lot of the routes in the passing game, pass defense, they defended us pretty well. I thought Phil Snow stepped in and try to do a really great job for us. He could have stuck with some of the stuff we did all year long. Really got us a kind of a kickstart into being a 4-down quarters team for next year. And so we had some kind of miscommunications at times. We're just not quite playing fast enough in the passing game. But I think that we thought that it was the best thing for us to do moving forward was to start really kind of on what Coach Orich wants to do for us as we move forward. Offensively, obviously, we came out set the tone early. The backs I thought did a really nice job, and then just really quite couldn't sustain it. So special teams wise, I thought they won there. So credit to them. They were 4-8 team last year that made the necessary changes to get to a 11, 12 win team, whatever, to 11 win team, I guess. And those are the same things, the changes that we've tried to make so we can get there next year. But they got the best of us today. So, but that'll answer your questions.
Your offense had 5 straight 3-and-outs. Did they make an adjustment, and did you guys fail to adjust, or did you get away from what was working?
No, we didn't get away from it. They started zone pressuring us, and you have to just kind of win those plays, and we just didn't quite win enough. And we had some opportunities, but we had a screen that should be out for a touchdown. We just don't quite make a block. We have some plays that are just not quite there. We're just not quite there. We left the pocket sometimes a little too early, so. I just think it was just, we kind of were in rhythm early. They made some adjustments, and we just, our guys just didn't quite make enough kind of plays. And then the second half, obviously, we moved the ball a couple times, brought down the field, and just didn't get in the end zone, obviously.
How do you assess TJ's play? You touched on it there, but overall.
Yeah, I think in general, we ran the ball early and had good rhythm. I think there were a couple of times where the pocket, he maybe left the pocket just a little too early. Some other times where, he went for a 4th down and we're open and they, bat the ball down. So, I thought he protected the ball until that last pick. So I wouldn't say it was just either way from what I could tell. I'll have to go back and watch the tape to really have a good feel for where he was at and, see the reads. But, they were playing man coverage against us and, pressuring and we just didn't hurt them enough. And so whether that was the plays or the routes, I have to go back and see that.
You referred to the defense's lack. And we weren't happy with the effort of the last 2 regular season games, physicality. How was that today in your mind? I
thought we were really physical. I thought we stopped the run for the most part. In the first half, I think at one point they had 60 yards and 100 rushing, about 150 yards passing. They got out on one naked, and the quarterback just took off. But these guys are running for 300-400 yards a game against people, and I thought. We were holding up on the inside. Really, it was the passing game. We threw for 300 yards against us. And from the very first play, when it was cover 2, they get behind us in cover 2. That can never happen. It shouldn't happen. Third and 18, scrambling around, and he makes a play. So, but I didn't think it was. I never felt like it was a lack of physicality. I never felt like it was anything. In fact, coming into the game, we were really thinking a lot about the run game, obviously with the way we had played the run during the year, and we were spilling everything, and there wasn't a lot of big explosive runs. So I wasn't concerned with the effort. It was more just the execution. And some guys got banged up in the game. A lot of guys played in the game. And every dark time there's some silver linings. There's a lot of young players made some plays. Quinn Clark catches a fade down the left sideline. A bunch of young guys on defense played today. So it's because we're learning some lessons by fire. But I didn't question the effort at all.
Given the number of players you played today and the schematic changes are sort of moving toward what Worth wants to do, did you kind of incur the risk that you knew that there might be some moments that were a little bit off, given that you were doing something new and you were doing it with young guys against a really good team? Yeah,
we came into the game knowing that, Sean wasn't going to play and Isaiah wasn't going to play. We were down some guys, but, that's the point of bowl games, right? Is it thrusts you into the next year. Let me just say this. We came to win the game. There's nothing that we didn't want to do to win the game. However, we just felt like the best chance we had was to kind of move into that 4 down and play quarters and play cover 3 and bring a couple pressures. And, if anything, we were like, hey, we're going to have enough. We had to work hard and having enough hats for the run game. And it wasn't like it was play action, like we were sold out to the run. They just dropped back and threw it against us too much. But they had a dynamic quarterback, one of the best players we've seen all year, and he was able to run around and buy time. So, and then you get into the game, right? So we started Justin Rhett, we started Marquise. Justin goes down, so you got to see Jameer Khan in there, you got to see Caleb Benning in there. So, guys have to decide who's going to go in the portal, who's not. But for the most part, a lot of young players that should be back with us got to play a lot. So that is sort of the silver lining of kind of the way that we play. Even though the defensive ends I was working with, I have Cam, I have Will, I have Keona, and I have Cade. Those are freshmen and sophomores. So, there was a lot of work done this week to try to take away the quarterback run. I thought they worked hard at it.
What do you make of Makai and Nelson State, and how do you see that running back picture?
Yeah, if you go back and look at it, Makai had the explosive runs. Mosey continued to make plays. Quentin Eyes was the short yardage back and the third down blitz back. And, coming into this game, that was the least of my worries. And I think those are 3 really good players. So we feel really good about them being the backs moving forward next year. And sort of today was a more traditional approach to the running back room as opposed to what happened this year where everyone kind of mixed in. So, like I said, there's, we have the portal coming up, the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. We'll see kind of how it goes. But we do feel really good about the running back room as it is right now.
Matt, with the way these last 3 games ended on the season, how big is this offseason to get this roster right, get things corrected for 2026?
Yeah, there's a ton of work that has to be done. And I think that work for us is and we began it long ago, right? I mean, I think in terms of like looking at the off season, looking at the Big Ten schedule, looking at the travel, we coming down the stretch of the year, we're pretty beat up. So how can we do things better? How can we do things differently? From sports science to medicine to strength training, we've been studying everything. And so, obviously the last 3 games make it hard to say a lot of things, but like, as I said to the guys, Henry Lutovsky said in the press conference yesterday, get to back-to-back bowl games. That is an accomplishment. I don't want to forget that for them, but to get over the hump, we have a lot to do. And so, we're going to attack it, and we're going to be unbelievably persistent at it. And, like I said, they're a great model, right? They were 4-8 last year, and that quarterback was on another roster, and he came in, and he's been a lightning rod for them. And now they're going to have to deal with the portal now too, So all of us have to deal with all that. So, but Pat Stewart, Keith Williams, Logan Holgerson, those guys, I think we're in really good position in terms of what we'll do in terms of personnel.
Does that start then just right away on Friday, or I guess it?
Yeah, they've been working on it for months. The portal opens up, and we'll see who's in it, and we'll go from there.
Do you have a sense of who you made? I'm not asking you to give names, but
no, I mean we've re-signed a lot of guys to contracts, and they can't anticipate being here. And there's some guys that they have to make decisions that's best for them. So we're not super worried about it. There's a lot of guys that would like to come to the University of Nebraska and run a good position. So Pat and those guys are well positioned to do that.
I know Penn State got hot. Iowa beat Vanderbilt today. Utah is fun. The concern about the gap between where you guys are at, where those 3 teams work. Do you view this game as similar to the Penn State or
Not well. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like we faced 3 top 15 probably teams, and we lost. So I mean, we're not a top 15 team. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't mean we're a bottom 15 team. It just means we're not at the level of these guys right now, and so I have to take responsibility for that. We lost 6 games this year. 5 of them were to ranked team. Penn State was Penn State lost 30 guys for the bowl game, and they still won't beat Clemson. I mean, they were the preseason top 5 team. We're climbing, trying to get there. And, like I said, so we'll look at everything. We'll attack everything in the portal. We'll attack everything with our roster. We'll try to find ways to improve. That's I mean, to me, it's really black and white, isn't it? Like, I mean, hey, they're the 15 team in the country. They beat us. It was, we were able to hang with them early for a while. We're not able to do it the entire game yet. And that's where we have to improve.
We're talking about Rhule here today. What do you think he was able to get out of even these last couple of weeks, just being around the program that can help him kind of pushing into 2026?
Yeah, well, I think he's really been able to look at the roster and be able to give guys a vision for where they fit. The worst thing in the world would be to have a really good kid that's a really good player that's not going to fit the defense that we're in moving forward, right? And at the same time, there might be some guys, like Jameer Khan out there, he's a great fit for what we want to do in terms of playing this position. So he's been able to meet with the guys one-on-one. He's been able to be at practice. He was able to be at the practice flow today. I would just say, we've been here for 3 years. For 2 years, we were really good on defense. We struggled this year. I take full responsibility for that. Okay. I hired John, who's a great coach, and just kind of forced him into something like, hey, stick with the 3-3-5 because we've been good at it. Really wasn't like his fit. We just said, that's not right. We parted ways. I feel bad for him. He's a great person. I wish him the absolute best. We brought in Rob. He's got a system. Say, Rob, put your system in. He knows the guys that he wants to go get for the system. He knows the guys that fit here for the system. We started it, and we didn't put in his system. We just did the kind of quarters the way we had done it early in the year. After Michigan, we didn't play quarters ever again. So it was a tough transition this last month, but at least gave us a head start. So, I have no doubt that Rob is going to have us playing great defense. He knows what he wants. I have no doubt that in year 2 with Coach Eckler, that he's going to have us going where we want to go. I have no doubt that Jeep is going to have our offensive line being, a dominant group, and I have no doubt that Dana will get the thing where he wants it to be. So, but we have to get that work done. I'm going to answer your question. I'm not going to rush off. So
after today, what do you think the identity of your team is, and what do you want it to be?
I think that's a great question. I think it's kind of for next year. I think we want to play great defense and play great special teams, and we want to control the line of scrimmage on offense and, be explosive in the passing game. And, we ran the ball really well early today, but we were never quite able to hit, some of those plays. Like we ran a wheel route to Jacory and we just weren't able to quite hit it, or, we got pressure at times. I'll say this, like, guys like Turner Corcoran, man, that kid, like, he can barely walk. He just cares so much about being a Husker. I'm sure people are going to beat him up a little bit for a sack at the end or whatever. But, man, guys, I'm just telling you, he's out there on a leg that most guys wouldn't play on, so, I love that group. And, but, we'll have a chance now to go back with Jeep, to go back with Dana and really kind of work through kind of where we want to get to. And, but yeah, we have a lot of work to do. So, Sam?
All right, that is Matt Rhule with his post-game press conference thoughts. A lot to chew on there. Interesting little statement at the end about the 3-3-5 and about John Butler and how all of that went down. Certainly we could react to that. And we will do that when we continue. We want to stay ahead of our breaks here, so we'll do that. And we got a lot of calls to get to. Gary, we'll get your thoughts, too, on what you just heard from Matt when we come back on the other side. It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Reaction to that, reaction to the game, and a lot more as we continue on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. Digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
Get into Prairie Flower Casino and get in the game. Prairie Flower has hundreds of the hottest slot machines along with the PFC Sportsbook and your favorite live table games. Looking for a bite in the beverage? You'll love all our options, including Sky Bar and Grill with nonstop sports on our wall-to-wall TVs and the friendly service you know and love. Play longer, win more at Prairie Flower Casino, just minutes north of downtown Omaha. Must be 21. Please bet responsibly.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let Jay Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Sunday morning is all about church, bacon, and the Sunday paper. We're right next to church and bacon. Sunday's made for hot takes and reactions on Severe Reaction. Join me, Michael Severe, Sunday on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction from 8 to 10 after every game. What went right, what went wrong, an honest take on what happened on game day. We'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction, Sunday mornings from 8 to 10, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Nebraska Medicine, together extraordinary on 1620 The Zone.
Life gets hectic, and that can pull away from your wellness goals. So when you finally focus on your health, why get lost in a sea of impersonal options? Discover No Name Nutrition, your family-owned health food haven. With personalized service, we'll guide you to the best choices for your journey. Visit NoNameNutrition.com today, 144th and Center, or North 72nd Street.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
Big Red Overreaction is live, featuring the most important voice of all, yours. Sound off now, 402-951-1620. Presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. On 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
John Bishop, Gary Sharp with you. Utah wins the Las Vegas Bowl 44-22 over Nebraska. The quarterfinal between Ohio State and Miami is going to comments here in about 10 to 15 minutes, so we'll keep you apprised on that as well. But Gary, hear anything there from Matt Rhule? A lot of different things. Obviously, a lot of bigger picture questions, future questions to chew on there. But anything stand out to you in his 15 or so minutes at the mic?
He doesn't want to admit this out loud, but John Butler was absolutely right when he talked about the roster. They have to improve their roster. There's way too much portal talk. I mean, this is a developmental program that needs to develop their own, and they haven't done consistently across the board. There's some young guys that last year, even in the Pinstripe Bowl, we're like, okay, we can see them. They just didn't make significant jumps this year. I don't know. I think Rhule in the back of his mind, they went out there to have fun. Okay. They kind of practiced that way. He could have seen this coming. I mean, that's a 10-2 team that was on the cusp of the playoff against his team that they weren't ready to go against that today. And the next time you face somebody like that, you can't have that same result. So he's tasked with the guy that's got to make the fix. And we'll see if that's through players, if that's through the additions and the coaching staff, or if that's with him personally, how he carries the program that I think got too comfortable this year.
All right, let's head to the phones on the Jay Stenick Contracting Hotline. Appreciate everyone being patient with us. Here's Clyde. It's all you, Clyde. Welcome. Happy New Year. Clyde is gone. Right. Let's go to Jason. Jason. Hi, Jason.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Got you loud and clear. Go ahead.
All right. I just left Costco. I think I might have got enough alcohol to forget this game and maybe even enough to forget this season. I'm going to name names if you guys don't mind. I think we fire Holgerson in Vegas. I don't think Latif looks like the guy after all. I'm just tired of this team playing soft. And, you flip around the dial, you see different teams in bowl games, coming to play, putting their best foot forward. And, you just don't see that out of the Huskers often enough. It's pretty disheartening at this point. I've been a fan my whole life, talking about 45 years now. And we got to get something to get turned back in the right direction. There's just a lack of toughness. I don't think we've had a worse safety performance on the year other than number 21, Guthrie. I haven't seen anything that bad over the last several weeks, really the whole season since Hartzog's been out. And I don't know. The last thing I'll say is you see Latif patting the ball and hanging on to the ball. You saw Dylan patting and hanging on to the ball. I don't really know what's with that. I saw a short crosser today for the first time in more than one season. I don't know what's up with the scheme, but if it's both quarterbacks patting the ball like that, then maybe you got to point to the coaches. I hope you guys can comment on some of the stuff I said. I love listening to your show. I listen every week. I listen to you guys during the week. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
He is so, when Nebraska went with quick game and they went with tempo in their first couple of drives, actually their first 3 possessions, that kind of looked like elements of what Dana likes to do, where they ran motion. They ran a jet sweep that ended up with a score. They ran that crosser that he was talking about to Mosey that Latif hit him in stride. And then it just kind of, and they were winning the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden it changed, and Utah changed a little bit, and they weren't winning on first down. I don't know. I don't have enough good players where they consistently can play 60 minutes of football against teams that have more talent than them. They don't win individual battles. And, back to the part about safety play, I don't recall. I think Guthrie got benched in this game. So there was the pass to the tight end that there was the collision that Osweiler on TV pointed out correctly.
Yeah.
And then we saw a lot more of Caleb Benning. And
yes,
I didn't see a lot of Guthrie, but that goes to a bigger issue, John. Rex Guthrie has been a roller coaster this year. He got a black shirt in December. I mean, what did he
was trending up in September, early October.
And then the game got quicker and he didn't adjust. And, he would be on a roller coaster of plays that would hurt him. I mean, Nebraska missed Singleton today. He was a stabilizing force in the back end. They're kind of all over the map. There's no like one thing you can hang your hat on because you think you got one thing fixed and then all of a sudden it's like in the boat where you put your finger on one hole and something else goes off. All of a sudden special teams, Archie Wilson was good again today, but what in the heck is Nebraska doing with Barney, who doesn't I don't think likes returning kicks. He's halfway deep in the end zone and he's returning the kickoff. So it just
or from the corner, from the coffin corner.
Yeah, they're just not consistent. Consistency is lacking all over the place in this program. And when you play a better team, you get your butt kicked like today, because that's a consistent team across the line of scrimmage.
Here is Bryce on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Bryce, we appreciate you waiting. Welcome to Overreaction. Bryce could not wait, but Andy perhaps did. Hi, Andy.
Guys, Gary, I got to call you out, brother. You said this game's not important, right?
I said no pain day.
Because, this is important for us as Nebraska fans. We're used to getting our butts kicked all over the place, and we see it again. It's the same old, and you expect it better in 2026? Really? Come on. All right, I'm out.
Okay, Andy's out. I don't know what to expect in 2026, to be honest with you. You just didn't want to see anyone get embarrassed. But again, tonight's show is more about, really, it's projecting ahead. Win or lose this bowl game, this was all going to be about 2026. Basically just embarking, as we've been doing the last 3 weeks, essentially, is starting the 2026 offseason. So it's not really about tonight. It's about the future.
Yeah, and okay, so I made a comment earlier on a different show about this is a no pain day, just enjoy the football. Right. Because I've already kind of closed the book on 25.
Exactly.
With the last 2 games of the season and how the season went. And here's the thing about today, the result. As bad as it is, 44-22, if Nebraska would have won, you know what? What are you talking about on Friday? What are we all talking about on Friday? Who are the portal targets? Things have changed when it comes
State game.
Yeah. I mean, by this show, I'm there with you. It still matters, but in the big picture, Penn State and Iowa mattered more to me than what happened today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Houston Christian mattered more than this did today. I mean, I'm not going to go on my bowl games don't matter screed, but I mean they're a step above a spring game. They're a step below a regular season game. I get it. It's going to be there was going to be a lot of happy chat if they had won it. There was going to be a lot of this and more vitriol and anger if they lose it. But this really, outside of it puts another loss on your resume for 2025. Technically, the vision is now forward, and what's concerning to me is about where that vision is headed moving forward and all of the things that Matt Rhule has to do. He's fighting a battle on several different fronts: coaching staff, culture, roster, and trying to keep a fan base from, jumping over the cliff, because judging by some of the folks that are out there tonight, a lot of people wanting to jump off the cliff. Don't do it. 2026 is only a few hours away.
Yeah. I mean, and then one quick thing here. This is watch Rhule, because this was the first time in his career at Nebraska where people are second guessing everything. Yep. And he hasn't had that happen yet. And he is now welcome to the club, because every coach here, even Osborne, gets to that point. And what do you do with it when you get squeezed? And we're about to find out exactly what kind of a football coach Matt Rhule is. And that's okay. I mean, that we're here to find out that. I mean, you can't. Yeah. I mean, that's the part of competition. So here we go.
Here's Chris. Hi, Chris. Thanks for waiting. You're on Overreaction.
Hey, thank you. Hey, you mentioned a point, John, that he's fighting everything right now, but he's really fighting himself, if you think about it, because he hires the coaches, he brings in the players. So a lot of these decisions that he's resetting from, that he doesn't want to call a reset, are really on him. And Gary, you hit the nail on the head. This isn't Baylor. It isn't Temple. It isn't those schools now. It wasn't then. And I think to a degree, he does a lot of talking and or selling to convince himself and others that he's at a level that he's really not at. I mean, if you look at some of the things that he just said and admitted, we've been curb stomped in about 4 games this year in year 3. We've had horrible, poor second half performances. The mistake that he's made with coaches and have to reset. In addition to that, he kind of indicted himself that he intervened on Butler to force a scheme on a coach or not match the coach with the scheme. These all go back to him. And then I'll leave you with this. 2 things. One, he's probably peaked. And I think we know what's going to happen next year based on what we've seen this year, the talent, what we've seen the year before and looking forward. But what's interesting, and it kind of rubs me wrong, is when interviewed in the first quarter on the sideline, it's more of Matt Rhule talking. I don't know if you noticed it. He had to let us know in the interview in the first quarter that he let everybody know in the press conference that he has a good running back core. And it's constant talk and rhetoric. And we're to the point where it needs to be about performance and production. I think he talks too much for a reason. And also, I think he does a lot of selling. And he did that in the press conference, right? He mentioned what Utah was last year, 4 or 5 wins, so there's hope. And then he tried to sell us that performance, because we had young players out there, should be hope for the future. I think we know what's going to happen next year, and I'll sign off and listen to your comments.
Chris, the whole point about selling, at some point, I understand at the beginning, you're trying to settle a message, you're trying to, sell an idea, a vision, but at some point, the product has to sell itself, right? The product has to. When you introduced Coca-Cola, you got to tell everyone how great it is. But Coca-Cola has been established. Now it's about, here's our product. You know what it is. Enjoy. Nebraska's got to start doing that, but they've got to put out a product that's worth selling. People on this state do not want to hear any more about this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
They now want the product to sell itself.
Yeah. Good catch, by the way, by Chris and others. His comment about the defense, about he preferred to go that way when maybe Butler wanted to go a different way. We've not heard that yet. Ooh,
nope.
That'll be a discussion point once we get off the air.
Yep. Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Our title sponsors this season for Overreaction. Also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Lance, Jim, Tyler, Matt, and Brock. Stay on the line. We're getting to you next. It's Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor, because more than likely, you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
At Dingman's, we understand that when you bring your vehicle to us, you're entrusting us with your safety and peace of mind. As part of this community, we're here to look after you and your family, just like we would our own. Our skilled technicians ensure every detail is handled with care, and our personal touch sets us apart. As your neighbors and fellow community members, we take pride in caring for the vehicles that keep our community moving. Locally owned and locally trusted. At Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Visit dingmans.com.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
It's football season, so grab your friends and make Sky Bar and Grill your football HQ. Feel like you're in the games while watching our massive TV walls and large screen TVs. Enjoy all your favorite beverages and food options with your group and place your bets with a PFC Sportsbook to cash in. All with the friendliest service around. Get in the game at Sky Bar and Grill, located inside Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more at Prairie Flower Casino, just minutes north of downtown Omaha. Must be 21. Please bet responsibly.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Life gets hectic, and that can pull away from your wellness goals. So when you finally focus on your health, why get lost in a sea of impersonal options? Discover No Name Nutrition, your family-owned health food haven. With personalized service, we'll guide you to the best choices for your journey. Visit nonamenutrition.com today, 144th and Center, or North 72nd Street.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
Sunday morning is all about church, bacon, and the Sunday paper. Right next to church and bacon, Sunday's made for hot takes and reactions on Severe Reaction. Join me, Michael Severe, Sunday on 1620 The Zone with Severe Reaction from 8 to 10 after every game. What went right, what went wrong, and an honest take on what happened on game day. We'll also take calls from the most important voice of all, yours. Severe Reaction, Sunday mornings from 8 to 10, powered by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Nebraska Medicine, together extraordinary, on 1620 The Zone.
402-951-1620. Now back to Big Red Overreaction, presented with limited commercial interruption by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Just about ready to kick off in Arlington, Texas for the Cotton Bowl. Miami and Ohio State. It's the first of 4 quarterfinal games. Of course, the other 3 will all be tomorrow. Kind of sucks that the game I'm looking forward to the most is the first game of the day tomorrow, the Orange Bowl. I would flip those the 2 bracket games. I'd move that one to the end. I'd move Ole Miss and Georgia to the top. But
God, when was the last time the Orange Bowl was played at noon local time?
Probably when Nebraska played in it against Auburn in like 64. I'm serious. It's been a long time since they had a daytime, especially like noon Miami time Orange Bowl. That's going to be interesting for Oregon too, because that's a team that's flying across 2 time zones, to get there. And so that's what, 9 a.m. their body clock time. I know they've been there for a few days, but still, it's going to be interesting to see how that game starts, but should be a good day of football tomorrow and hopefully a good game coming up tonight. 402-951-1620, Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Here we go to Jim, who's up next. Hi, Jim. Thanks for waiting. You're on Overreaction.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Good.
I just want to say, number one, the first quarter showed why we needed to get rid of Dominic Raiola. Number 2, the second, third, and fourth quarter shows why we need to get rid of Holgerson as our offensive coordinator. He has no clue how to call a pass play that is longer than 5 yards down the field. And finally, we need to take a look at, if we have allegedly the best athletes on the field, why does the University of Utah have better athletes than we do? And that relates directly to our strength and conditioning. And we just gave our strength and conditioning coach a $400,000 raise. So we need to take a look at the entire program. And as far as I'm concerned, our wonderful head coach, Mr. Matt Rhule, has at most 2 years to show what he can do. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye now.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, not having 100 today, hurting the passing game. I am very interested in moving forward with Jeep Wade. I think you saw it early. They got the guards on the move. Like, Lutovsky was better when he was out pulling, and they ran some counter action. We're about to find out how athletic some of these offensive linemen are, because Nebraska has an abundance of offensive linemen that are currently on the roster. And that may actually benefit.
We don't know too, Gary. I mean, how many of those guys are guys that Rhule was talking about, the ones that might stay, ones that might go? But you're right. A lot of offensive linemen. There's clay to be molded, and you're hoping that Jeep Wade, with the experience that he has and running the schemes that he likes to run, can maybe do some of that. I mean, of the hires in the offseason, his is the one I'm most encouraged about. Moving forward, because he's a veteran. He's got a lot of experience. He's shown what can be done. It's just being able to marry what it is he does and how he teaches it with the guy who's calling the plays and the guy who's wearing
Yep.
the headset on the side.
I am right there with you. The other part, though, this is glaring and it's not new, is Nebraska looks slow. They at all the levels, they look really, really slow. And this isn't just today or this season. It seems like it's been for the last 3 years. Nebraska looks slow. Now they were playing against some grown-ass men today.
Yes, they were.
And it was the same. They got pushed around again on the line of scrimmage, especially on the defensive line, where they're going to adjust. The days, this idea this year of having 280 and 290 pound defensive linemen. Nebraska's looking at a 26 prospect who decommitted from Texas who weighs 330 pounds. That's the guy to play on the defensive line, especially you just went through Ty and Nash and their size. So that's a major miss this year. But Nebraska has to find a way from the quarterback to the running back all the way through skill guys down to the linemen. They got to find a way to get faster because they don't come across as very fast right now.
Bigger and faster. Bigger up front, faster everywhere else. Matt in La Vista. Hi, Matt.
Hey, John, Gary, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Matt.
Hey, I'm going to try and go fast here for you, but just a background on me. Born in 84, first game in 87. I've been to as many games as possible, graduated in Lincoln, took sports journalism in Lincoln, called games for 90.3 KRNU, all that. Now I'm 42 years old, got 3 kids, my youngest, 8-year-old boy, and he wanted to go to the Iowa game this year because he believes in the team, still believes in the team. It was cold as hell, thinks we'd win. Of course we don't. And all that being said, I'm a diehard, and unfortunately, I've put my son in the same place. I put my nephews in the same place. One of my nephews said today he'd rather be number 4, the guy from Utah, and our quarterback. And it's after that, but let me just say this. After the Iowa game, I told my friends, my family, my bowling team, shout out to the Diane Lanes. After that, I said, I will stay on Matt Rhule's side of the fence if we can do 2 things, and that's keep Dylan and win a bowl game. Well, Dylan left. Okay, that happened. Then they matched us up against Utah. Okay, we're probably not going to win. So at least cover the spread. At least hold on to some hope. Do something. We looked good at first. I know we didn't have EJ. I know we didn't have number 8. But we were just outclassed, outcoached. Completely from the beginning, or not from the beginning, but once they figured out what we're doing, they took it over. And this is just kind of and also real quick tidbit. After 38 games, Mike Riley was 19-19. Matt Rhule is 19-19. But my last thing, hypothetically asking you guys, if we could just fire our staff, keep maybe 4 or 5 guys on our team, and just buy Utah's guys and their staff, how much better would we be?
Well, that's a huge question, Matt, because Utah staff might be migrating in part to Michigan, depending on how things go.
So this is on the head coach because that's a continuity question. We also have to address, and this is Rhule, is continuity at position groups is a great benefit. And the one thing with Whittingham is they had a plan because they knew he was going to hand it off, is they have continuity with their position groups. This stuff catches up to you. And it's clearly caught up to Nebraska with guys that start in their development and, they're learning something new. Thank God Addison Williams is still at Nebraska. Can you imagine another defensive back coach? Which would be, if you were a guy that was going into a senior year, you would have played for 4 different defensive back coaches if Addison Williams was gone.
4 different DB coaches and 3 different coordinators. That is a ton of turnover.
Yeah.
And again, it's not all for good reasons. It's one thing if you're a program that has been winning a lot and you got guys that just naturally move up and move on. This is guys that are getting let go.
Yeah.
You just let go of your D-line coach that you brought in. And one of my biggest things, and I used to say this a lot during Bo's dying days, but I wonder if there's enough people on the staff that challenge the head coach, right? You need people in that room that can challenge you. You can bounce ideas off of. where it's not like, okay, we got to funnel everything through the top. No, you got to have people in that room that are like, no, this is what we need to do. And this is how we need to do it. And actually challenge, because that's where better ideas come from. Yeah. Not just waiting for the instruction to come from the top on down, which is what appears happened with the defensive coordinator situation last year.
Yeah.
Here is Brock. Hi, Brock.
Thanks for taking my call. I think the big concern I have is that when Matt Rhule had those phenomenal years at Temple and really at Baylor when he worked a miracle, the dynamics were very different. I don't think he's figured out the revolving door nature of the game as it is now. And yes, NIL is improving. They got a boost, but I just don't think he really knows what he's doing as far as the dynamics of today's game. Second, let's forget Signetti. That's a lottery ticket. But look at Fleck. Look at Bielema, winning at schools that don't care about college football when compared to Nebraska, nor invest in it like Nebraska. What's their excuse?
Better coaching and a plan and a system. I mean, that's what it is. Bielema, you know what you're getting with him. Fleck, you knew what you were getting with him. Now some might say, is what they're doing good enough for Nebraska? Well, it should be right now. It should be right now, because right now you're a 500 program.
Yeah, John, you make a great
above where you were with Frost.
John, that's a great line. You know what you're getting with them. Illinois won the game yesterday against Tennessee. They didn't have their starting left tackle. They didn't have their leading sacker. They did not have their leading tackler, and yet they're built different, where they have enough depth where they can win a football game like that. It's just, that's a great line. You know what you're getting with Illinois and Minnesota every single year, and Iowa. Okay, because Iowa won today, and they outside of throwing it on 1st and goal, which they don't normally do, Iowa did Iowa things today. You don't know what you're getting with Nebraska, and that's uncomfortable. That's really uncomfortable, and I don't know if Rhule operates being uncomfortable, but I don't know. We find out a lot about people when they work up, they are uncomfortable, because they got to be in situations where you're uncomfortable and then you adjust to it. And we're about to find out pretty damn quick if the guy at Nebraska can do that. And those two places, Temple and Baylor, he was really never uncomfortable.
No, he wasn't, because he was left alone. There wasn't the fishbowl outlook, and you didn't have the instant, gratification of being able to go into the portal and get exactly the types of people that you want, and you weren't coaching in the Big Ten Conference. Here is Lance. Lance, you're up next on the Jay Stennett Contracting Hotline.
Hey guys, there's quite a bit to talk about in this, but let's not forget we were in the fourth quarter against USC, driving with the ball before our starting quarterback got hurt, which I think probably changes the outlook on the last quarter of our season. And then the other thing I would add is, Utah. I remember watching them play UCLA really, really early in the year, where it's a really late night game, and I think Dampier must have transferred, from New Mexico State or something, to Utah. And so the good news with college football is you can get better really fast with how the portal works. I think we have a roster that we had the opportunity to see some young guys that I think when you go into next year, you look at a kid like Caleb Benning, and you look at, Mekhi Nelson, who a lot of us have been interested in seeing. And I think, with the roster where it's at, is that this, to me, was a game that the outcome is what I expected. And I wasn't going in today thinking, hey, we're going to win, or it's going to be close, or anything like that. It was literally, let's see what some of the younger guys can do. And so I think this roster is in a decent spot where, hey, you guys, we were winning 3 games a few years ago. Now we're winning 7, right? So let's let it percolate a little bit. And, obviously with Rhule's contract and extension, even in 2 years, he's going to be owed like $50 million. So this is what we have right now. And so I think we should ride this, focus on improving the team in the offseason. I think we've probably seen on quarterback, we're probably not where we need to be. Latif, as a true freshman, isn't the guy. And I don't even know if he's the guy next year. Maybe it's a 2 or 3 year thing before he's the guy. But the number one thing is it can always be worse. I mean, LSU's entire offensive line is in the portal. So we can get better in a hurry. And I think that with the staff, I would like to see moving forward continuity. But that being said, I think there's a lot of things to take away as positives And that's how I think I'll look at it going into next year is we're going to grow as a team, and maybe it's time for us to go from 7 wins to 8 or 9 wins.
Lance coming in strong with the positivity.
Thanks, Bulk Dog.
Night.
No, he's
he's got good points in there, but my issue is, yeah, you can go out and get players and all this other stuff. My issue is I still think there are some foundational issues that exist. Foundationally being 500 culture, foundationally being not being able to identify exactly what it is you want to be, foundationally in terms of staff continuity, foundationally, and the caller mentioned, hey, we were driving for a 2-score lead against USC. Yeah, with a quarterback that now everyone has been willing to say, oh, we're clean our hands of him, get him the hell out of here. I mean, imagine what this conversation would be like if Dylan had stayed healthy.
Yeah.
So my issues are more foundationally right now, because I think that's where this program is still not strong enough. And before you can start building the house upward, you've got to make sure that foundation is strong. And I'm not saying it's weak, but it's the little soft in spots, and it needs to be shored up before you really start thinking about building high.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska is going to be attractive in the portal. I mean, agents are going to reach out to Nebraska, and relationships still matter. And I don't think you should overlook some of the additions to the staff. They are really, really good recruiters. So they've got relationships. They've recruited in the South. They've recruited other places. So out of the portal, Nebraska is a very attractive place. But kind of along the lines of what you're saying, John, we have to talk about coaching. We have to talk about in-game coaching. We have to talk about the timeouts. What happens out of a timeout? Drink. We all got drunk again today because there was a false start right out of a timeout. Or why no pressure on third down? It's just like the little things in the Big Ten. Coaching is so good. And it's not just the head coach. It's coordinators. It's position coaches. It's special teams coaches. That's something that can't be fixed in the portal unless you've got so much talent that you just roll the ball out there and you just beat teams. At some point, to make the next jump, you got to be good on the sidelines. And there's a lot of stuff that I've seen, especially late in the year, that tells me that right now Nebraska's not good enough on the sidelines to win football games when they don't have better talent.
402-951-1620. Our show brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. We will bang out our last few callers of this season on Big Red Overreaction when we come back next on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
When it comes to protecting your home, Jay Stenick Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. Have you noticed stains on your ceiling this winter? With storm season around the corner and the damage it can bring, let Jay Stenick Contracting ensure that your roof is durable and holds up against the weather this spring and summer. When you need an honest assessment, Jay Stenick Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
Get into Prairie Flower Casino and get in the game. Prairie Flower has hundreds of the hottest slot machines along with the PFC Sportsbook and your favorite live table games. Looking for a bite in the beverage? You'll love all our options, including Sky Bar and Grill with nonstop sports on our wall-to-wall TVs and the friendly service you know and love. Play longer, win more at Prairie Flower Casino, just minutes north of downtown Omaha. Must be 21. Please bet responsibly.
Life gets hectic, and that can pull away from your wellness goals. So when you finally focus on your health, why get lost in a sea of impersonal options? Discover No Name Nutrition, your family-owned health food haven with personalized service. We'll guide you to the best choices for your journey. Visit NoNameNutrition.com today, 144th and Center or North 72nd Street.
No Name Nutrition, the natural place to shop.
It's Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Big Red Overreaction continues in 1 minute on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We know your time matters, so when you call us, we answer on the very first ring. That's our promise to you. We value your business and will treat you like a friend and neighbor, because more than likely, you are one. While other banks hide behind technology, we combine the best of both. Top-notch digital banking and online banking with people who care. Got a question or need help? We're just one ring away. At Equitable Bank, we take banking personally because you deserve it. Member FDIC.
At Dingman's, we understand that when you bring your vehicle to us, you're entrusting us with your safety and peace of mind. As part of this community, we're here to look after you and your family, just like we would our own. Our skilled technicians ensure every detail is handled with care, and our personal touch sets us apart. As your neighbors and fellow community members, we take pride in caring for the vehicles that keep our community moving. Locally owned and locally trusted. At Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Visit dingmans.com.
Now back to Big Red Overreaction, presented with limited commercial interruption by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Halfway through the first quarter, Ohio State and Miami are still scoreless. Miami had a drive going, but got turned away, and now the Buckeyes have the ball back at their own 35. Scoreless first quarter in the Cotton Bowl. Hey, want to thank before we go on. Go ahead, Gary.
There are some violent players playing in this game. There are some guys that are getting lit up.
Yes, there are. This is kind of looking like the Miami of old. A little bit of swag, a little bit of in your face, and some hard hitting tonight. So far in the first quarter of this one. Want to take time real quick. Thank all of our great sponsors this season who've done such a wonderful job for us. They're with us all year long. Of course, everyone on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Also, Equitable Bank, Old Man Doug, always a great supporter of the zone. Equitable, we take banking personally. No Name Nutrition, live a better, healthier, more natural life. Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Do Dingman's and the rest of the world a favor. Don't go driving drunk tonight and getting into an accident where you need them. But if you do need good collision repair, Dingman's is the place to go. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Don't forget, you can win those $100 gift cards at the 1620thezone.com from Prairie Flower Casino. And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Thank you to all for supporting us this season on Big Red Overreaction. Yep. And with that said, we'll head back to the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline to tip off our final segment of the year. Here's Tyler. Hi, Tyler. And we have to retip the basketball. Here is Greg in Myrtle Beach. Hi, Greg.
Happy New Year, guys. Appreciate it.
Happy New Year, Greg. It's only 8 hours. It's only 4 hours away where you're at.
Yes, sir. Bring it on. I always enjoy Big Red Underreaction. Typical mealy-mouthed Midwestern crap. Don't raise your voice like Jake Sorensen or myself. That offends the delicate feminine sensibility. It just makes me puke. How dare we have any standards or expectations for our once great program? We've only won 5 national championships and 46 conference titles. And now our ex-NFL guru, middle school Rhule, is 1-4 against interim coaches. Harlan Barnett, Kerry Smith.
Oh, that is true.
And now Morgan Scalley. Penn State had 364 rushing yards, 231 in the second half. They punted one time all freaking day with an interim coach, and Rhule had 2 weeks to, quote, prepare. And then Iowa has a real coach, a real staff, and they punk us again in our own house 40-6 on senior day. And then you add in today's disaster. So now we've had our asses kicked 122-48 the last 3 games. And Scott Shanley and myself were exactly right. So here are the real facts. The third-year Rhule bump is a total fraud. The coward pansy backed out of a fantastic 2-game series with Tennessee for Houston Christian, where this was a losing season. And his diarrhea mouth and his fecal football don't fool us. The main symptoms of guys like Rhule who suck are they always talk about and hide behind these abstract intangibles that nobody can measure. It's a smoke screen to hide the fact that they can't coach. They hide his lousy record and his lack of title. He's a master. You heard him just now in the presser. He's a master of talking in circles. Just listen to his words, guys. He's always talking endlessly, rambling on about unity, transparency, engagement, purpose, culture, and alignment. It's so childish, and the moron media out there and half of the fan base schmucks just laugh it up like lapdogs. All the Carolina Huskers know the truth. We aren't irrational or overreacting and a minority. We're not disloyal and we're not toxic. We're smart. We stop donating and we care a whole lot less. We don't hate Matt Rhule personally. We don't want Matt Rhule fired. We never wanted him hired because we knew what you're learning now, which is he sucks, especially in game and at halftime. Good coaching wins close games, and that's why Matt Rhule does it. He's proven he's a 500 coach, and the true fact we keep telling you is that middle school Rhule has one conference title in his entire career in the garbage American Athletic Conference, which is a league that lousy Scott Frost won twice. And it's hard to believe that Troy Dannon just gave away his mulligan, extending middle school Rhule because now he's tied his wagon to the Titanic. So all of us smart Husker fans know that every day when Matt Rhule is your coach, you get further behind because he's a televangelist, used car salesman, and you're being conned. So thank you very much. Appreciate your show.
Thanks, Greg. I'll only take exception with one thing you said. The Tennessee series was canceled for next year and the year after. It would not have applied to this year. But outside of that, I mean, he got it off his chest.
I mean, and he's got some points. He's got some points that can't be debunked.
Nope. No, they can't. And that's the thing. And I saw there was a comment earlier on the YouTube comment section that said, you know, next year we're really going to regret not taking advantage of this year. And that could, I mean, if things go sideways, if things go badly, if Matt Rhule can't turn this thing around, you're right. We're going to look back at this year with the way the schedule set up and the way the team had come out of, sprint or fall camp, and how they had all the pieces. They had the 5-star quarterback. They had the new, offensive coordinator with all the experience. We may look back at this past season and say, damn, what a missed opportunity, because there were a lot of missed opportunities for this season. Here is Andy. Hi, Andy. Thanks for waiting. You're on Overreaction.
Do you guys like loyalty?
Loyalty?
Because we've been loyal for a long time, and we've been loyal like a mother. And what do we get? 15 million? Top 15 in NIL, and we get this. Are we supporting it? Nebraska football sucks. We know it. Game over. All right, guys.
The game is over, Andy.
Again.
Yes, it is. Appreciate it. It looks like you won't make it to the new year, but might not make it to
2025. 2025 is over. Now on to 2026 on Friday.
It is for Andy. Here is Clark. Hi, Clark. Hopefully you're staying sober, at least for now. Clark?
Clark?
Clark. Is this me? No.
Yes, it's you. I'm sorry.
No. Hold on.
Oh,
Clark.
it is me. My name's Mark, not Clark.
Oh, Mark.
So, yeah.
I want to change it.
You're looking good there, my friend. Anyway,
Thank you.
I watched Tom struggle for a quarter century, and the way he did it is he went out and got some studs. Peters, Phillips, you know where that's going. Nebraska hasn't been relevant for, what are we going on, 30 years? And Dominican Sue was the last time any of these 18-year-olds have known anything about Nebraska. How are you going to recruit studs? I watch these games and I see high school against pro. We need studs to come to Lincoln, and how is the Haymarket going to pull in kids that can go to Florida, USC, Ohio State's got national championships? You know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
It's the studs. And Tom tried for a quarter century, and when he went out and got Peters, Phillips, Farley, you know what I mean? Where are they at? I haven't seen that since Indomitian Sue. And Gary, you're looking good. Thanks. And that's where I think.
Thank you.
Football.
Thanks, Clark Mark.
Weird. My DMs are now closed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Eric, let's see if we can make this 3 in a row.
Holy smokes, the bar is low.
Yeah,
Hey,
save some for the rest of us.
Hey guys, can we since it's towards the end, can we play a little game?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna name the teams on our Big Ten schedule for 2026.
Yep.
Just based on the coaching staff, do we win? Yes or no? Illinois.
No. Just on the coaching staff?
Based just on the coaching staff. Just
Okay.
a quick yes or
Okay.
no. Like
Okay.
right up top.
No.
Okay.
Iowa.
No.
Michigan State.
I'll say yes.
Indiana.
No.
Maryland.
Yes.
Yes.
Ohio State.
Nope.
Given. Washington.
Draw.
Oregon.
No. No on Oregon. 50-50 on
Rutgers,
Washington.
at Rutgers. So that I say that's a draw. So we got what two draws and maybe one yes. So I'm just going to keep it short. What's our $11 million getting us? Thanks. Have a great rest of the show.
Thank you, Eric. Thankfully, it's not just on the coaching, but again, it does. What that does amplify is this is a league where you have to be buttoned down from the top on down. This is, and I said no on, I said yes on Michigan State. And I'm not saying that Pat Fitzgerald hasn't had his moments, but I don't know what kind of a group he's putting together there. But everybody, I mean, even the guys down at at Rutgers, you got a guy in Shiano who knows what he wants to be and knows that area and has established something. It may not be great, but this is a league with a ton of great leadership. It's better than any other conference in the country, bar none. And that's what Nebraska's going up against. And it makes life very, very difficult.
Yeah, Nebraska has to be better on Saturday. I mean, I'm sure that Monday through Friday there's a lot of good things. Nebraska needs to find a way to get an advantage on Saturday where they outcoach the other team. And they might have more talent or they have less talent, but they're good from the sidelines, like with a game plan, execution on the fly, in game, all of that kind of stuff. That's, back to the caller about Coach Osborne. I mean, yeah, there were some dudes. They had some fellas, but he is also one of the greatest play callers and had one of the greatest running back coaches and also had one of the great offensive line coaches and defensive coordinators that college football has had in the last 40 years. So coaching matters, but Saturday coaching is bigger to me. And I think that's where Rhule hasn't shown me that's an advantage for Nebraska that you can chalk up when you walk into the stadium, is that, man, if they get stressed and they have to adjust on the fly, they're going to be able to do it. The third quarter was a problem this year. Nebraska in the third quarter, the first quarter was great. The third quarter, after you've had time for the game to settle in and even go into the locker room, whether you believe in halftime adjustments or not, that's a problem. I mean, you're doing it to yourself. So, I mean, is that something that can be fixed? I don't know. But maybe you look at it and go, as long as we have enough
to see different results.
Yeah, and maybe you say, hey, as long as we have enough talent, we're going to be fine. I don't care, man, if we make mistakes in the headsets. I don't know, man.
You can't. You
got to be better on Saturdays.
That's why you lose games at Minnesota. That's why you get blown out by Iowa. That's why you've lost to all of these interim coaches. Even though you had interim coaching staff or an interim head coach, you still had established staffs with already established cultures, and they're still out coaching you. And that is a problem.
The Big Ten with coaching is not forgiving. This is an extremely great coaching conference that just got better in the offseason.
Final call of the year. It's not last call for the year because that's still a few hours away, but the final caller on Overreaction will be Jim. Hi, Jim. Thanks for waiting.
Well, thank you guys for doing a wonderful job and letting me get in as the last call, because I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this, because they're your employer. It won't matter who the coach is, how good the players are, until they switch the radio network for broadcasting. Eventually, nobody's going to hear them anyway. With that, I'll let you go because the signal's so bad, nobody probably hears my call anyway. You have a great New Year, guys.
I think Jim is calling.
He's confused.
Yeah, might have thought he was on with somebody else.
I don't think Courtney starts until 7:30.
Poor Matt, too, man. He's got a good basketball team to watch. Why do we have to put him through this? All right. Well,
we can't end on that type of call. Do we have one more call?
There's no more. It's all clean.
That's how we're ending this season. Maybe it's appropriate.
It may be the most appropriate way to end this season, Gary. It may be the most appropriate way. By the way, Miami's in the red zone. 3rd and 2 coming up. They just started the second quarter. All right. Well, we got plenty of time to react to this, and
we got a defensive line coach to hire here in the next week.
A line coach to hire, and who knows how many. I mean, Nebraska's aiming for 1-to-1 coach to player ratio. So, there may be a whole lot more guys coming.
So let me ask you this. Do we anticipate any surprises once Friday starts?
When Friday starts, I don't know if it happens that quickly, but there will be surprises. I think there will be surprises in the portal, and there may be surprises still with some shuffling on the coaching staff. But I don't know if it'll happen.
Would it surprise you, John, if Rhule cleaned house and we were talking 25 to 30 guys that are shown the door?
That'd be a lot, but no, not because nothing surprises me to that level in this day and age in college athletics. But I think, he kind of mentioned it in the press conference. There's a few guys that they already believe they have signed on contract, others that are still making decisions. But there will be a few others that will have decisions made for them. How many? I mean, I think it'll be less than 20, but it wouldn't surprise me if it pushed 20.
Yeah, I mean, this might be your chance you didn't do it when you first got here, to reset the roster.
Yeah, and the roster will be reset, just as it is in a lot of other places. But again, the key is who you're resetting it with, and are they going to fit what it is you want to do. And with that, we'll put a bow on the 2025 Nebraska football season. God, it feels like only yesterday we were in Cincinnati kicking this whole thing off. And now it ends on the final day of 2025, just a few hours shy of 2026. I want to thank Equitable Bank, No Name Nutrition, Dingman's Collision Center, Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Peerless Energy Systems, and all the great callers this season, and even the bad ones, on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Gary, have a good trip there to SDSU. Get a win tomorrow.
Thank you. Enjoy New Jersey and Philadelphia.
Yay. New Jersey.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Be safe out there. Be smart on this overrated celebration tonight.
Amen. Be very smart, be very careful, and be kind and considerate to others. Let's make 2026 a great year. Want to thank Jake Janicek back at our studio in Omaha. Excellent work all season long. Really appreciate his efforts. And all of you for listening this season on Big Red Overreaction. For Gary Sharp, I'm John Bishop. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll talk to you next year on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.